All right, so a lot of people have been asking me this question. If you have a limited budget of, let's say, $1,000, what is going to be the best camera package to buy for content creation, photography, videography, stuff like that? So today we're going to talk about a camera kit that I was able to put together for just $1,000. Now at the end of this video, I have a little bit of announcement to make about all of this camera gear, so make sure you stick around to the end for that. First, let's talk about the camera. I'm going to be talking about the ZV-E10 in this video. This isn't necessarily my favorite camera. I think it's starting to get a little outdated. But I was able to purchase this one on Facebook Marketplace for just $500, which I think is a fantastic price for this. Now you can also find cameras like the Sony a6400 for around that price. I think there's some decent Canon options for a similar price, and all of the other accessories we're going to talk about today will work for basically most of those sort of budget mirrorless cameras, especially crop sensor cameras. Now when I say crop censored, what I mean is that the sensor in the camera is a little smaller than something like a full frame camera, which it has a couple of different characteristics to it. A lot of people prefer full frame, but you are going to be spending a whole lot more money on full frame cameras. So for $500, you're getting great 4K video, you're getting an 8-bit, you're not getting 10-bit, but you're getting decent quality video footage and great photos as well that you can take with this camera. The downsides to this camera is it's only got 8-bit video, which to a lot of people is a bit of a frustration. It doesn't have a viewfinder, so if you're used to using a viewfinder, this camera does not have one. It's very small and light, and the battery capacity is not very good, so you need to pick up a couple extra batteries. But for $500, if you can find one used, this took me quite a long time to find one used for $500, but you can find them if you're patient enough. Now you might notice we're only spending half of the budget on the camera body, and that's because oftentimes people fall into the trap of spending 90% of their budget on the camera body. And realistically, you probably need to free up a little bit more of your budget to spend on accessories, especially things like lenses and audio are the two main things that we're going to be talking about. Next, let's talk about lenses. The kind of lenses that we're going to be looking at for this build are going to be the Sigma Contemporary series. I have two of them here. There are three in total. There's a Sigma 16, the 30mm, and the 56mm. I enjoy these lenses. I absolutely love them, and they open up all the way to f1.4, giving you lots of background blur, and you can pick them up used for really cheap. The 30mm I picked up for just $140, which is a ridiculous price for a lens this good. The 56mm I don't actually own, so I'm not really going to talk about that one, but if you're wanting something a lot more zoomed in, a lot more compressed, that's the one to go for. And the 16mm, which is the one that is typically held its value the best and is the most expensive. So for this rig, we're going to go with this one. I managed to get this one used on eBay for $220. Again, very good price. It takes time to find good used prices. You just gotta search. You just gotta look around online and just wait until you find something at the right price. Don't impulse buy. Take a bit of time, a bit of patience to find the kind of right deal. So $220 we're gonna add to our $500 camera, bringing us up to $720. Next thing we're gonna add to that is a variable ND filter. I'm a big fan of these, and these are by Freewell. Now I've got the 82mm here, but you can buy a 67mm one that fits this lens, or you can buy a step-up ring. So you know, whatever you want to do there. Step-up rings cost a little bit more, so maybe just get the one for the size of your lens that you want, but step-up rings are very cheap, so most of the time it's better to just buy the biggest one. What this one is, it's a 2 to 5 stop variable ND filter, which is like sunglasses for your lenses, helps you control the light, and it's also got a built-in mist filter, which means that it kind of dirties up your image a bit and adds quite a bit of character. Now, all of the character of your shot is going to come from your lenses, not from your camera body, for the most part. So I definitely recommend investing in some decent lenses. This filter is about $100. That brings us up to about $820 total for this package of this camera with this lens. And this is a fantastic combo. This is what I've used for a long, long time. I use this Sigma 16mm all the time. I'm currently not using one because it's on this camera here, but it's a fantastic lens. Basically 90% of the videos that I've made on YouTube were filmed on this lens, and I love it. Now, out of these contemporary series of lenses from Sigma, pick the one that works best for you. If you want a wide angle lens, go with the 16. If you want something which has a little bit more character, a little bit more zoomed in, more background blur, go with a 30. And if you're wanting to be very zoomed in, go with a 56. If you're just getting one lens to try to do everything for you, I'd go with the 16 or the 30. 56 is very zoomed in compared to these two. But here we are up to $820. We've got a couple more accessories to add. First off, let's talk about audio. Now, the audio that I'm going to recommend for this build, you've been listening to for this whole video, and that is this. It's a little device by Hollyland. It's called the Lark M2, and it's a really nice little system. It comes with a nice little carrying case with a whole bunch of little accessories in here, and the transmitters are these teeny tiny little ones right here on my shirt. The thing I like about this is it's not super heavy. We're going to talk about that in a second. Now inside this case are 2 transmitters and a receiver. The receiver is on the my camera that I'm filming on at the moment, and here we have these 2 little transmitters. Now these things are great. They're super small. You can decide for yourself if you like the audio quality out of these. But for the price of about $150 brand new, I think it's a pretty good deal. Hollyland did send these to me, so I do have an alternative if you'd rather not purchase something like this. But a lot of people like these sort of little wireless transmission systems, and they're getting better and better. This one has a built-in noise cancellation. You know, it just does the job well. Now compared to something like the DJIs, or this is the larger version of the Hollyland, which is the Lark Max, the difference between these tiny ones and these larger ones is these ones don't have the capability of being able to plug in a separate microphone. So that's typically what I like to do with these ones, is actually attach it to the back of a shotgun microphone like the VideoMic NTG and run the microphone into this and then transmit that to the camera because it's a little bit higher quality. These are just microphones, right? You can't really do much with them other than make them microphones. The upside to that is they're a whole lot smaller, a whole lot lighter, and they're not very intrusive. These big ones, you know, if you clip them onto your shirt, they dangle and they're huge and everybody can just kind of see it, whereas these tiny little ones are just a whole lot nicer to look at. So brand new, these cost about $150. I've seen them on eBay for $100. So I'm going to say that you could probably find some for $100. And if you don't want to use this kind of wireless transmission system, what I'm going to recommend instead is just one of these. This is the ancient, at this point, the really old Rode Video Micro. It is like the OG of on-camera shotgun mics. It's teeny tiny. You can get these on eBay for 20 bucks. I've got an entire video about this little microphone and comparing it to a $400 microphone. And I think you can get this thing to sound great. So if you want to see that video, make sure you just check up here and check that out. So again, you can find this kit for about $100 on eBay. If you buy the full kit, I think you get these little adapters, so you can actually plug it straight into a phone or another device if you don't want to use the transmitter that connects to a camera. It comes with the cables that you need, loads of stuff. Again, the sound quality is really what matters, so you decide for yourselves between this or the $20 microphone. Go check out that video after this. So if you pick up one of these for $100, our total is now up to $920. Next, let's talk about tripods, gimbals, stabilizers, stuff like that. We can't afford a gimbal at this price point. What we're going to do is we're going to use this. This is a switch pod with a little ball mount on top. The ball mount's an optional extra. You don't really need it, but I just have it on here, but you don't need one. This acts as a little tripod that also acts as a good vlogging stick. So what it does is it's got these little magnetic legs that fold back, and you can then attach the camera on the top, hold it out, and you can film yourself with it. I would love to be able to include a gimbal or a full-size tripod on this list, but this thing is fantastic. I use this all the time. They're very beneficial. You can set it on a table or on something high up if you want to hire a shot, and it's so small and compact. It just does the job really well, and you can find these used for $50 quite frequently online. And that brings us up to a grand total of $970. So we still have $30 spare, and you're always going to want to get a couple of little odds and ends that you may not have. So I'm leaving that little buffer of $30. So if you need like an SD card for your camera, make sure that you get decent SD cards. I'd probably recommend either these ones by Lexar or the ones by SanDisk. Those are the only 2 brands that I've ever used, and I've never had one fail so far. So they've done me well. So those are the ones that I recommend. Don't cheap out on SD cards because they can fail, they can break. Don't just go to Walmart and buy the Walmart brand ones because you just don't know if they're going to be fast enough to capture the kind of data that you want to be capturing with your camera. So that's my list. $1,000 can get you all of this. Decent audio, again, you can decide whether you prefer this, $100 setup, or a $20 setup if you're wanting to use a little shotgun microphone. $50 mini tripod. There's other tripods that you can find out there for $50 if you want to get one of those instead, like full height ones. I just really enjoy this thing. It's very handy, fits in your camera backpack very easily. A prime lens that can open all the way up to f1.4, giving you a nice blurry background, which can be good for vlogging or portraits, anything like that. A good filter, which again is very optional depending on what you're doing. You don't necessarily need a filter, but some people like to have them. And lastly, a camera that can capture a great 4K image. And again, if you go back and watch a lot of my videos that I've talked about this camera, you can get a great image quality out of it. And if you look in the comments, the people who own this camera love it. So if you're just getting started and you used to think, I just want to buy a camera kit for $1,000, this would be my recommendation. But if you're a seasoned photographer and you have a different list that you've been able to accumulate for $1,000, make that list and put it in the comments down below. And for you viewers who are just getting started, check in the comments down below, get some more ideas. This is my suggestion. That doesn't mean that this is something that you have to buy. This is what I bought, and I think it's a great place to start. This is my recommendation for a camera setup that I've been able to accumulate for just $1,000, which I think is a great price to pay to get you into the world of photography or filmmaking. Now, if you're just a photographer, you can cut out some of this stuff. You don't need audio gear because there's no audio in photos. If you are going to be filming in a studio environment where you can control all of your lighting, you may not need the filter. Or if you already have some of these parts, if you've already got a tripod or something, you can cut out these. So look at the kind of equipment that you have. It's always best to use the stuff that you already have and add on from there. Now, at the start of this video, I did say that I have a bit of news about all of this camera gear, and that is to say that whenever I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away this kit, a kit of $1,000 worth of camera gear, including a ZV-E10, one of the Sigma Contemporary series lenses, this little Lark set, the Lark M2, a switch pod, and an SD card, everything that you need to get started. So if you're interested in that, hit the subscribe button. Let's get us to 10,000 subscribers. I'd really love that. And I'm excited to see what you guys do with this kind of equipment if you're the lucky giveaway winner. But I'll be making a video once I hit 10,000 subscribers with all of the details on how you could win this. So make sure that you hit that bell notification. While you're down there, you may as well hit the like button or drop a comment down below. And make sure that you subscribe as we continue to build this channel. I appreciate all of you for doing so, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.